for being here this evening at the City Council meeting. If you'd all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our invocation this evening brought by Councilmember Mike Thompson. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow as we pray. Holy God, we humbly ask for your presence with us and your blessing upon us tonight as we conduct city business on behalf of our citizens. Give us open hearts, open minds, wisdom and insight as we make decisions that affect the population here. Thank you for the privilege of serving the people of Bonner Springs, and may we never take that privilege and that freedom for granted. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. We'll move right into the first portion of our meeting this evening, which is the citizens' concerns about items not on tonight's agenda. Those of you who would like to stand and address the council on the open public meeting are more than welcome to about items not on tonight's agenda. And those items will be considered and, if necessary, put on a future agenda. Is there anyone that would like to stand and address the council this evening? No one? With all of the social media that has been going on? Goodness, I would have thought perhaps someone. Seeing none, we'll move right on to the City Council portion of tonight's agenda, the consent agenda. The consent agenda, which includes minutes of the August 13th City Council meeting, claims for city operation, Public Housing Authority claims, appointments to boards and commissions, and massage therapist license for Ying Rin for back and body massage. Anything to be pulled by the staff? Anything to be pulled by anyone from the citizens? Seeing none, any questions, concerns from the council?
I was just curious where the massage is located. Thank you.
No other clarifications? I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we accept the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Vote, please.
Reeves?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Early?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
On to our regular meeting agenda. Item number 1, final payment and change order for USA Concrete. Staff?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Rick Seiler, Public Works Director. This item pertains to the concrete work that was recently completed for the 2018 street repairs. We've got a small change order in the amount of $12,992 pertaining to 3 work change directives as listed on the memo, some additional ADA ramps and some curb work on a few streets, Alcott, Norris, Martin Luther King are listed there. We also had an adjustment, this is about a $2,200 deduct, $2,256 to be exact. Final payment's $24,980, so we need to approve a change order for $12,992. Final payment for $24,980 and accept the project at a total cost of $97,232.
Thank you very much. Anything to add from anyone in the audience? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve change order number 2, final payment to USA Concrete in the amount of $24,980 and accept the project as complete.
I second that motion.
Moved and seconded. We'll start the discussion down here on this end. Councilman Shannon, no? Anything else?
Mr. Seiler, the ADA ramps on change order number 2. How did those come about being added? They weren't part of the original, I guess?
They were not, they were required when we were doing that work on on Morris. I couldn't tell you if they were left off accidentally or we just
But they had to be addressed when we
had to.
Okay.
When we do mill and overlay work on streets, we're required to do ADA.
Oh, it's actually a requirement.
But that's on Allcut at Morris.
Morris, on Allcut and on Morris. On the Allcut one, I may not have an answer for you. I can check that out and find out why that's added. It might have been added just because when they've done that sidewalk before, that it needed one, but if we're doing mill and overlay work, most of the concrete work was tied to that mill and overlay work, I believe.
Rick, have they, excuse me, have they finished all the AD ramps and everything? I'm specifically thinking about the one there at,
134th, that's a separate project, and we've got a PO for that, or getting processed.
okay, thanks.
And we're actually doing ADAs on both sides up there, and putting curb returns on both sides of that street, once again, to get it ADA compliant on both sides.
Okay.
Very good. Sir? Nothing else? Seeing nothing else? Vote, please.
Gurley?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. On to item number 2, final payment and change order for J.M. Fahey Construction.
Silent Public Works Director, I've got that one too. I can say I'm all or not.
Yeah.
Once again, approve a change order in the amount of $6,013.26 for some additional work, and there was also a true-up on this project also. The final payment is $32,255.82. Total project cost was $645,116.40.
Very good.
Answer any questions?
Thank you very much. Anything to be added by the citizens? Questions, concerns, comments? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve change order number 2, final payment of $32,255.82 to J.M. Fahey Construction, and accept the projects as complete.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Sir, Mr. Reeves?
No, I was going to second, but they beat me to it.
There you go. Sir?
Nothing additional.
I was just curious about the street that was taken out of the bid.
We had a measurement on the Grantwood that turned to the north, which is technically a private drive.
Exactly. Okay, thank you.
And that's resulted in the decrease. Very good. Ma'am?
Now they know how much it
Anything?
cost them. No.
Nothing.
That's what they're trying.
Seeing nothing else, vote please.
Shannon?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes.
Kip?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
Motion passes.
On to item number 3, filter media replacement.
Seiler, Public Works Director. Review on this project. We came to council a couple times on this project. It is out for bid. The bids are due in later this week, actually Thursday, from a contractor actually do the work. What we'd like to have council approve is the purchase of the filter media separately from that contract. That contract was written with an ad alternate for the media. We can actually save some money by buying this media directly because of the upcharge that we would not receive from the contractor. But the bigger issue is time delay, because we won't be able to bring the filter media project back to council until September 10th. We need this media immediately. We need to really get these filters done. And so what we're trying to do is cut that time delay by ordering the filter media directly ourselves. It'll be here by the middle of September, about a week after council would approve this contract for the work to be done. And we'd like to be able to get this filter work done before the end of September. Otherwise, the filter media would need to be ordered by the contractor, and then it's still another 4 to 6 week delay for them to get that media in, which they won't order until we award the contract.
Very good. Anything else?
Price is $29,258.85. We've got 3 bids there on that on that memo for you. We're recommending to approve the purchase order, which I guess we need the city. I don't know if it's in the memo, but typically, city manager would sign it.
Very good. I saw in here that the engineer specified this filter media specifications,
Yes, sir.
and who would verify that, or how do you verify that the media that you receive meets those specifications?
The media actually comes in a bag form, so it's actually listed right on there.
Marked. Very good. That was my question. Thank you.
A couple changes, I'll bring that up since you asked, too. We did make a change. Typically, we run what they call dual media, which is a sand layer, an anthracite layer, which is a coal layer. We've always had more anthracite than sand. With the new configuration, it's actually equal amount. We're actually putting more sand in these filters, which will help with the Our biggest struggle that we've always had with the filtering plant is manganese control. So it's our intention to improve that filtering operation with this media change out too.
Very good. All right. Anything to add, or questions, concerns, comments from the citizens? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the purchase of filter media from Northern Filter Media Incorporated in the amount of $29,258.85.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Questions, concerns, comments? We'll start down here. Sir?
None.
Is the filter media used up during the process, or is it just become ineffective and you take it out and replace it?
We take out the old and put in new.
Thank you.
It's word.
Yeah, is there any backwashing to prolong the life of it, or is that?
We backwash the filters continuously. I mentioned it earlier when we brought this up, the typical filter media is 20 to 25 years life expectancy. We're a little shy on that. The problem we've got with this filter media is actually some mechanical issues inside the filters where we blew a hole in one of the discharge headers, which disrupted the bed severely. And then when you backwash filters, there's an underdrain mechanism, and we believe the underdrain is messed up on the other filter. We won't know until we actually pull the media. So we've got some room in this project to do some repairs to the underdrain and to this header pipe. The header pipe we know has a hole in it, we've seen it. The underdrain you really can't see because it's under the media and under the gravel, which is the underbed for the media. But the media that's in these filters is not, it should look like a table when you look at it, and it does not. It looks more like a Grand Canyon right now. It's a problem. We're not getting good filtration because the media is disrupted as I.
Very good. Other questions, concerns, comments? No? Vote, please.
Thompson?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Reeves?
Yes.
Early?
Yes.
Hip?
Yes.
Quinn?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Not voting tonight. On to item number 4, North Water Storage Tank Interior Painting Project.
Last project of the night. We're excited, but works once again. So this project has been delayed for multiple months. As you can see, we actually put this tank back in service in July 31st of 2017. There was a minor issue, what we consider to be a minor issue with the contractor, that there was some paint touch-up work that was not completed on the top of the tank. It's not a critical issue, but it was more of a sticking point with us not finalizing this contract. I understand a year seems like a very long period of time, which it does looking back at it, but the results of us trying to get a hold of the contractor to do that work was unfruitful. And we ended up talking with our city attorney, working through that process. Letters were sent, emails were sent for them to respond so they could finish the work, which never happened. City attorney, which is an accompanying letter there, that was sent to the contractor back in April of 26 of this year. Came with no response again. So what we're recommending is we actually accept this project. Total project cost is $141,146. There's a remaining balance that we are not paying the contractor, which is $7,057.30. That will invest it to actually have a contractor do this small painting. It's very small work. It's where they had their hoist poles through the top of that tank. It's sealed up, and they put a caulking that, I mean, it's not like there's a huge issue up there. It's more of a technicality. We never made final payment, and so it's been going on long enough, and we're pulling the plug, per se. We're recommending to accept the project for $141,146, and this will close out this project.
Very good. Anything from the citizens concerning this item? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Merrill?
Make a motion to accept the North Water Storage Tank Interior Project totaling $141,146.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions, concerns, comments, and we'll start down here, sir.
Mr. Seiler, I think I know the answer to this one, but what's the confidence level that this vendor will uphold that 2-year maintenance agreement if you can't even get a hold of them to do
Yeah.
this touch-up?
Well, that's a true point. We have maintenance bonds on all of our projects. We are actually taking this tank down for an interior inspection in September, which is pretty much on schedule, which we will check that interior paint on that job. It's Tennemic paint. We know who did the paint. You know, we did all the checks after the paint was done as far as mill thickness, adhesion testing and everything. We believe the paint on the inside is done properly.
Yeah, there's no expectation that there's going to be failure, but if there was, then the maintenance bonds help.
Maintenance bond is in effect for 2 years.
Okay.
It actually begins after you accept the project.
Did you?
So we're getting 3 years?
You said
Never
that,
had
not
an
him.
issue come up, but at the fine line of our agreement, it's 2 years from the time the council accepts the project, which is tonight.
Other questions?
I just wonder, are there other companies locally besides ATR for future work?
There are. We did our due diligence with checking them out. You know, they came in as a low bid on the contract. There's other firms that can do the work.
I'd imagine they were in the area and they could do it for at that price, and now they're not in the area, and coming out would cost quite an amount for them, or that's what they're...
Kind of figured that. You know, there's a point there, they may have walked away. I did talk to their city attorney. I mean, technically, we could pull the whole bond. That could get into a legal issue, and I think his advice was to do what we're doing.
Good.
Okay. He's explained everything in the question that, asked. That was mine.
Good, sir. All right, seeing nothing else, vote please.
Reeves?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Kemp?
Yes.
Wood?
Yes.
Thompson?
Yes. Yes.
Gurley?
Yes.
Stevens?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Very good. On to our reports. The first report this evening, the city manager's report.
Just as a reminder, in the city manager's written report, we are scheduled to have a joint meeting with the city of Edwardsville to hear a budget presentation from the unified government. That is tentatively scheduled for September 17th, which is in between our regularly scheduled council meetings here at 6 p.m. The location is still tentative, but we're looking at the George Mine Center, which is where we've met joint meetings prior. I also want to make sure everybody knows there is a ribbon cutting tomorrow at 12:30 at Windridge Estates, which is a 40-unit apartment complex going down out in the Canaan Center. Also, a quick correction on item number 5. I just want to make sure that this is correct, that there was actually 450 tickets sold to the spaghetti dinner, and we actually had a collection of about $2,150. Just as a point of comparison, last year we sold 325 tickets, and we brought in $1,550, so an increase all around.
Nice.
And also want to be sure to note that the senior center did donate the extra spaghetti and pies and desserts to public safety folks, fire, EMS, and police department. And lastly, I just want to make note, a longtime City of Bonner Springs employee, Paul Folsom, unfortunately passed away the other week. I want to let everybody know that a celebration of life will be occurring on September 15th, which is a Saturday at 6 p.m. at Kelly Murphy Park. And the family has asked that in lieu of flowers, that donations be made to the Bonner Springs Park and Recreation Scholarship Fund. But beyond that, that concludes my report.
Very good. And while we're on that, if you wouldn't mind passing that along to Bill Turley, the band director, and the city band board, they asked specifically if there was any information that they'd appreciate that, give out to their individuals concerning Mr. Folsom. We'll move on to city council items, and since we're going from one end to the other all night long, we'll start down here.
Two things, actually. The code enforcement on that. John, thank you. That's great, and I really love what it shows, what some of the actions that were taken on that. It really helps a lot. Also, I was talking with Vicki Kobiunker the other day at church, and she wanted me to be sure and tell everybody thank you to our city for waiving the fees for Tiblo Days for them, and that the money from that was given to the families of the two deputies that were killed, plus a lot of their proceeds was also sent to those families. So anyway, just wanted to note that she really was appreciative. So that's it.
I just want to say how wonderful Tiblo Days was. The work that has to go into that is incredible, and the cleanup afterwards. When I went down the Oak Street the next day, it was as if Tiblo Days had never happened, and it was wonderful. It was so good to see everybody out. And I would like to know if we can travel through the 1918 building in October or November, something like that, just to see.
Yeah, I would just ask if you could let me know when you would like to go through there, and we'd be happy to.
Well, would it be the whole, I mean, who else wants to go? Is it just?
I'd like to go.
Okay. I'd like to see. And Leandra would like to go. Because I think the seeing of it as it was, which I know about, and as it is now, and then to watch it come into the newness of it. I really would like to.
I'm sure he can schedule that for you,
Okay.
coordinate that. Anything else?
No.
I was sorry to miss Tiblo Days. I'm glad it was a success. On the code enforcement spreadsheet, Sean, there's one that says with prosecutors since March of 2017. That's almost, we're coming up on 2 years now.
I don't see.
Is that active? I'm trying to ask general questions because I know the answer is general.
Right. Generally speaking, they have been provided certain timeframes to complete items within, and oftentimes they have, but then it becomes a habitual sort of repeat situation. So that particular property has gone in and out of compliance over that almost 2 year period. I will say that is one of the issues that habitual offenders that is prompting the conversation and leading us to reevaluate our nuisance code as it is currently, which is a conversation that we'll be having and have been having for some time internally. Obviously, the end goal here is to get an ordinance in front of you all that addresses some of these issues, so we don't have 2-year long violations occurring.
So the current code doesn't have an end game.
It has, the current code, I will tell you, has some issues with it, generally speaking, that certainly need to be evaluated and cleaned up to ensure that we're not, that we're following the letter of the law, that is the Constitution as well as state statutes, but also ensuring that we have due process rights. But at the end of the day, we're ensuring that we maintain a high quality of life in the community where we're hopefully free of these types of nuisances.
So the extorting isn't the word I want. Using those loopholes to full advantage in this case?
You know, for this particular one, I don't necessarily know per se. I mean, again, generically, there are ways of getting around ordinances that people are aware of that we certainly take advantage of.
Okay, thank you.
As well as quite a extensive history of different people being involved, and not all of them are here in the area and have some type of interest in the property.
Okay.
Complicated things.
Has there been any feedback on the letter you distributed for the crosswalk?
No, not me. I can tell you what we've done. Again, the conversations with the school district sent back to about 2 years ago involved a litany of things. SRO officers, crossing guards, the DARE program, all-star program. And again, it becomes a little complicated when we have a school district that's in 3 different cities and ensuring that there's equity in terms of how much we, the city of Bonner Springs, are assisting in some of these endeavors. I will tell you that as far as the crosswalk is concerned at Kump and Coney, we have a crosswalk there. We have it lit, so it actually will blink at the hours predominantly used by school children. Trying to think, we also just today went out and placed, you'll notice this actually on 3rd Street as well, we have permanent pedestrian crossing yield signs, but we want to try to continue this throughout Kump. I'll tell you, there's another crossing down from the Coney and Spring Valley, which is also was not a crosswalk that was actually being manned by somebody that has kids crossing that as well. So we're trying to do everything that we can from the city standpoint in terms of I'll tell you, I actually went out there the other week and sat there for a good period of time just to see the traffic volume going across there, which is something that I did last year as well. I will say that over the course of about 45 minutes I was there, we did have at least 1, if not 2, individuals pulled over for speeding in that stretch of the road way down the way. So, but nothing directly that I've heard about that. But again, the city's taken a lot of effort in this to make sure that it is a safe crossing. Not only that particular crossing, but all crossings throughout the city.
Sean, have we given any thought to, and I've seen these at different locations where they have like the button that somebody could push, and there's a like a stop, it'll be say red or stop or something like that. Is that? I don't know if I'm describing it right, but
yeah. I know what you're talking. There's a lot of different ways. The issue being that it's a midsection road crossing, which we have a controlled intersection, obviously, up on top of the middle and Nettleton and Kump. And then the next controlled intersection, there isn't one throughout Kump. So the idea was originally to try to educate folks to try to use the controlled intersection, which is by and large a safer route anyway. But at the end of the day, there is a crosswalk all the way down on several locations on Kump Street. There's different ways that you can go through it, but flashing in the crosswalks is a different way of doing that. Again, right now, we're trying to maintain a high level of enforcement with the police department as well. It's just ensuring that there are adequate safety devices throughout there. And not to say that there aren't other avenues that we might go down in the future.
okay.
I saw those crosswalk cars stand on the way in, those are neat. You said they're permanent, will they pull during the summer months?
Well, these ones that Public Works, actually Jimmy Denton went through earlier today and actually we have permanent ones at 3rd Street, and those are bendable for the most part. Not encouraging, but
My truck came right back up.
your truck went right over it. But the ones down on Spring Valley as well as in Coney, those are just anchored there. The hope is just to try to figure out where the best location to put that is, because we're dealing with 3 lanes on that, so it makes it a little bit more complicated. So right now, we're just kind of evaluating that to make sure that that's a good location, as well as just again, making sure that we're educated that there is in fact a crossing walk there, as evident by the crosswalk itself, the flashing lights, the children crossing sign right at it.
But those will be there all year long.
The intent is, the hope would be that once we've determined that that is a viable place to put that we would go and put the actual permanent ones, like on the street that are bolted down.
And the feeling is that parents will have their kids, if there's the alternate way, they'll say, go where those crosswalks are.
Yeah, again, that's part of the issue, is that once the kids leave the school property, they kind of disperse all over. I think the statistic that I've heard from the police department is about 4 to 5 crossings at that particular intersection on a given day. So again, there are other areas that we want to try to ensure that are as safe as possible. Again, not just for school, but 24/7.
Yes.
Sure. Amber, thanks for putting on the parade, and the rest of the staff, whoever helped. That was, I think it seemed like it was great. I think Chris had the best idea of walking, because I was about 175 degrees in my car, so I lost some needed weight.
It was a cool car, though.
Candy given out.
A little family plug. My dad's speaking September 13th at the Alden Harrington Family Event Center for the Bonner Springs Historic Preservation Society. He turns 87 next month. Come down and hear him if you can.
What time is that?
7 p.m. I think.
7 p.m.
Thank you.
He'll tell you some baseball stories if you care. That's it.
Nothing other than just to have a safe Labor Day, everyone.
Thank you. Good point.
Couple items. Our water line plan for the city, I know we talked about some problems in the city, one that I was aware of where we have somebody on the end of a line instead of it being looped. Is there any kind of a time frame that we can look at, or is being looked at to remedy these problems? I realize it's not going to happen soon, but...
Right. So that's part of the intent, and Rick is currently getting required documents to be provided to you all to actually go to a contract or an agreement with two different plans, one of which is for the sanitary sewer, the other is for the water plan. The intent is to, like you said, kind of work through some of the high priority issues, and that's evaluated based on other impact of the system and community, so on and so forth. But I think the plan is to have that on the 10th. I believe it's the next council meeting, and then we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
The plan is probably, 4 or 5 months to finalize. So we're about 4 or 5 months to work through that, and that's a public engagement. Bring people in similar to what we did with the storm sewer master plan, just to have a conversation with folks, identify what the problem areas are, and then start to put the plan together, and then put that into motion after that.
Good. I'm not wanting to get on anybody's case. I just want to see how we're doing, if we're moving, if I could go back and say, yeah, something's going to be happening in the next few months. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. Great. Also, at the cemetery, the pond draining, what's going to happen there? I realize that we're draining the pond, or we're letting it drain to fix the leak. Is there another, like I say, a time frame there where we can look forward to refilling the pond, or not? Or
That pond is probably draining naturally. I mean, we're not purposely draining it, but that's the issue. And we're trying to get some numbers together because we don't believe that pond was ever lined.
Don't believe the pond was what?
Lined, whether it was a
I didn't think it was, but I didn't know.
bentonite you could use. There's natural materials you can use to line that pond, but that's the idea, is to get that pond. We did repairs at the outlet, at the outfall box, which we presumed, we knew it was leaking through there, but it's not leaking through that box anymore. But there's water entering the downstream pipe that's coming from that pond, and so that pond is leaking through the bottom, basically.
All they did was stockpile.
For next year, I don't think we have that scheduled for this.
Okay.
All they did.
Next year, right? So it's kind of,
Kind of time.
When it's drained, can we do something to get rid of the cattails? Hopefully.
When that was originally built, the clay that they removed during the construction process was stockpiled and then put back in on the bottom and rolled around with so
This is clay.
and although sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff said it used to go up and down more.
Yeah. It's pretty much just gone down. There's also a pretty significant spring in the southeast corner on the hillside there, on the bank, that did a lot of the filling of that pond. But the cattails are quite a situation, and prior to it being relined, will have to be dealt with.
I'll double check with Jeff. I know he was buying some herbicide to spray them this year. I mean, that's what they've done.
I think they'll need to be removed by tractor or
Yeah,
something.
cattails are really tough.
Yeah, and then sprayed, and,
We burned them, pulled them.
yep. So have I. I haven't burned them.
What do cattails do besides spread? Is that the problem?
Yeah.
They take over the whole, they've taken over practically the whole pond. All of the area, all the depth that they'll grow in, they were growing in. So, and it's not very much deeper than that when it was staying full. Now, it's below that, and the whole area is susceptible to weeds. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
If the water was coming up more, we'd probably control them a little bit better. I mean, cattails from an environmental standpoint can be a good thing.
The bank of that going inside is about as steep as the side of the banks that aren't underwater, and it doesn't go down very far. So it's not a real deep pond in the middle, and you don't have much place to soak that up.
More like a marsh.
Yes, a wetland, and those are very important too, but very difficult to maintain.
And then that brings other problems in the marsh. Yeah.
Thank you for your approach for the city the city attorney, and moving forward with the nuisance code. And yes, some work has been done on that 735 Lakewood. The resident there has done some work, but it's a long way from being like it ought to be, including items that are now stored on the front porch instead of in the yard, and various things like that. So I'll leave it at that for now, but thank you, Sean, for pushing forward on that and staying
Vigilant.
Yeah.
Very good. Nothing else? We'll move on to the mayor's report before it becomes too hot in here to sit in here anymore. I would like to thank everyone that was involved with Tiblo Days. I think Tiblo Days was a big success this year. I'd like to thank the Public Works Department, like Councilperson Woods stated. It was Public Works that is responsible for a lot of the cleanup, and it was done very quickly and looks very nice. All of downtown, all of Bonner does, but that area. So thank you very much. Also, all the work that the city staff did, Amber and your whole team, it was noticed not just by us elected types, but the whole community made mention of how nice Tiblo Days was and how well designed it was. Sean, and you and all of your help with all the information that I used for the mayor's banquet, I can't thank you enough. Again, it's great to be a part of that. Unfortunately, we don't have the newspaper like we used to have a newspaper, and so the newspaper we need to support as best we can, and it's making a huge difference, but it's still difficult for everyone to get for the city to get the information out through all of our different means. We have email blast, we have social media, we have printed material that goes out on a regular basis, and we have the public meetings that we have, as well as the city council, and it's available on our website. So there are a lot of different ways to get the information. We've, in the last week, also had some situations come up that weren't very well received by certain portions of the population here in Bonner Springs, citizens in Bonner Springs, and that's very unfortunate. There's a lot of that has gone into that. We had some changes in staff that required us to take a different route, a more professional and appropriate manner in which we've been inspecting our buildings. And with that came to light certain special situations that were potentially a concern for the city, as well as the individuals who put on the haunted house as well. And unfortunately, those concerns, when we have investigated them, almost come as much as rigorously, I should say, very rigorously, weren't able to be remediated to their preconceived expectations. So unfortunately, things appear to be going in a different direction. And I know that's difficult for people who don't have a lot of information to recognize all the concerns that the city takes very, very important. So those are concerns. We're certainly able to take all of the comments that have been on different media outlets, as well as the social media that I'm aware of. So if I would greatly appreciate letting everyone know that if they have any questions at all concerning any of these situations, the 1918 building remodeling or the government services building of the police station and its value, importance, need, costs. There's a lot of misinformation going around. We're trying our best to get the correct facts out, as well as concerns revolving around the haunted house. Please take a moment to ask or look it up on our website or the social media or the many different avenues that it is available. As always, the utmost importance for the city of Bonner Springs is the safety of not only our employees, but also the citizens of Bonner Springs. These are safety issues that we're trying to address as best as we possibly can. If you have any other questions, please ask anytime. As well as with the crossing situation that was handled so well by our city, there was a little bit of a communication situation that came about over the last couple of weeks that was received real well. I think this is the best avenue to work forward with the more professional management of these crossings for all of the students, not just at school, but the entire year. And I think it will greatly increase the safety to everyone in Bonner Springs. And as is noted, with back to school, it's even more important. So that is all the different areas that I wanted to make mention of. Please make sure you return your parade signs to Amber. Those of you who haven't, like I have yet, and make sure. Also would like to recognize the Renfest starting up here. Their dates will be from September 1st to October 14th. We're looking forward to them. They're another one of the many attractions in Bonner Springs that are very successful and bring a lot of individuals to our community. So I'm grateful for that. Unless anyone has a question for me? We stand adjourned.